everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I'm here with one I'm very excited to play. This is Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin. So let's jump right in. I'm going to do a partial solo playthrough, and just like with my recent Robomon and Kingdom Come playthroughs, I'm going to show some of the narrative stuff, but not like narrate and read through every single little section. I'll summarize some so we can see more gameplay. And then I'm going to stop once I'm done showing you some of the play and play the rest on my own and give you my impressions of the game so far. So that'll be a future part of the video, but for you, it'll happen immediately. You can use the timestamps to jump to it right now. And a quick reminder that we never accept compensation for our coverage of crowdfunding games. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every single month you can't see anywhere else. We also have a streaming channel with even more great playthroughs, interviews, reviews. We also have a podcast with 1 to 2 episodes every single week. And if you want to come and talk to us, you can jump on our Discord. So if you haven't seen the original Tainted Grail, I'll kind of explain things fresh, because honestly, I haven't played it in a while, and there are a lot of rules that are changed. So each player has a hero, and they're going to be adventuring around, taking actions which will use up their energy. Your energy will slowly tick down each day, and you can stop whenever you want to rest for the day, and that'll make your energy go back up, prepare you for the next day. You also have a health track that ticks down, and this little arm going to the left becomes a limiter to your energy. So if you are heavily injured, you also can't take as many actions in a round. And then this track on the right is your terror. That starts at 0, but will go up as you get freaked out by things and cause you to go insane if you're in the top spots. You've got your inventory down here at the bottom, food, wealth, experience, and magic. I only start with some food and wealth as Gerdwin, the hunter-fighter lady. You've got a unique action available only to your character, a unique negative ability. And finally, you've got your attributes. There are 2 spots normally for each one, and they are in opposing pairs, so it becomes much more expensive to level them up if you have a bunch of cubes on either side or the combined sides. But generally speaking, these will open up options for me in the encounters I have. They will unlock bonuses in both diplomacy and combat. You can see those decks kind of peeking over there. Each character starts with a unique deck of 10 cards. And also, if I level them up beyond 2 cubes, I get access to unique skills for my character, little bonus things. But like I said, the game is an adventure game of exploration, sort of in the vein of Seventh Continent, except much more narrative focused with a lot of reading. You're moving around on these location cards. Some of them will be flipped to their weirdness side, which makes them way more dangerous to explore through. But you'll be activating these waystones, kind of like the menhirs, if you saw the original Tainted Grail content. But the nice thing is these do not tick down. They just stay until something destroys them, or until you need to place a 4th one, and then you remove one of the other 3. But these will flip locations to their clean side, so you can actually explore there and do stuff. But the nice thing is, again, more flexibility in this new version. You can still explore through locations, even if they are on their weird side. You're just probably going to take some terror doing so. And then once you reach locations, you'll be exploring them. You'll be spending energy to make choices, reading different narrative passages, having branching things happen, unlocking encounters, lots of cool stuff. And finally, like I mentioned, sometimes your encounters will take you into combat. You'll use your unique combat deck, and then diplomacy works similarly. Those are kind of their own systems entirely, so when we get into our first combat, I'll walk you through it. And by the way, because I'm playing with a single character, I get this nice self-reliant card that's going to give me an extra energy every day or at the end of every day. And I'll also have more cards to use in combat and diplomacy to give me more options with what I play. But those are the basics. Let's jump right in and see what the Kings of Ruin have to offer us. So I'm starting with Chapter 1, obviously. I have a unique event deck set up with cards in order for Chapter 1, although generic events might get added to this later. And I've already prepared my encounter decks. They're going to be a little bit easier because there's only 1 character. And we're all going to explore the starting location 101 automatically to kick things off. Although actually that didn't kick things off. You have a letter for each character. The beginning kind of lays out the basics. So if you don't know the Tainted Grail universe, it's kind of like a twisted version of the Arthurian legend, like Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, where Arthur went to Avalon. That's where he went in the myth when he died. But here it's like this place full of Cthulhu-like terror, and you're just trying to survive in it. But Kings of Ruin is focused on the west side of where Arthur's ships landed, or not Arthur's ships, people who got separated. So we are like the people who got caught in a storm and have had to eke out our existence. And now our greatest heroes have been twisted into Chaos Lords, and they are the Kings of Ruin, the name of the expansion, the game. But specifically for Gerdwin, I've been trained as a fighter. My legion got destroyed by a rival group, and now I'm trying to reach my former comrades. We made a deal to meet up at this one place, but it's been closed off by weirdness for a while, and finally the weirdness has gone away enough that I can try to reach them. So, we'll see what the initial encounter tells me, but that is, to my understanding, my first goal. I want to get back to my legion. I have the standard of my legion. Seems important to get their flag back to them. Let's see if we can do it. But with that theme out of the way, we are automatically exploring the Shunned Lands, which is 101. This little symbol shows that it is not on its weirdness, although it certainly has one. Yikes. So let's go ahead and explore it, and unlike in the original Tainted Grail, exploring does not have any inherent energy cost anymore. Instead, the options you choose might cost energy, which means this is free at the moment. We're staying at our starting 6 energy. And like I said before, I'm not going to read through every single narrative section, but let's start off reading some stuff, and I'll try to read you some of the more exciting sections later. So when you explore locations, they will usually kick you to different verses or give you different options based on what you've done and what you've checked off on your save sheet. Here it says if you don't have the hints part 1 status, go to verse 17, otherwise read on. So we do not have that status. We're going to go immediately to verse 17. We're not going to read anything else. And just to show you, by the way, these are your statuses that you'll be checking off. They had this in the original game as well, and I always thought they were great, like a nice way to kind of track the crazy branching stuff you can have happen. But here we go, verse 17. Let's read some of this. The lively and safe coastal areas of 4 maidens now lie behind you. The path ahead, uphill and desolate, glistens with morning dew and floating wisps of opalescent weirdness. It's been a while since you've seen this capricious, ever-changing fog with your own eyes. The waystone, nestled in high grass just off the trail, looks almost spent. You walk toward it and inspect it with interest. Every waystone has its keeper in civilized lands, a feudal lord, a local town, or a brotherhood sworn to protect it. But here, so close to the pure weirdness that still covers most of Avalon, these landmarks are often snuffed out by the powers that dwell in the fog. There are also mentions of those who drain their power on purpose, though you can't comprehend how vile one would have to become to stoop this low. It's been a while since you've reactivated any stones, and it does require some effort and proffer offerings, but you know you will never reach the King's Pass without their guiding light. As your hands carefully touch the surface, the stone comes back to life, strands of weirdness in the air immediately slithering away like snakes from a flaming torch. You're lucky. This stone was not yet fully exhausted, and waking it up was easy. The others that lie ahead will require more effort. All right, so I had mentioned this a bit in the overview, but this is a new way for Tainted Grail of doing things. So we are getting a free waystone right here. They can only go at these corners, and yes, that will be continued if there are locations to the right, like the art will be there as well. And that makes every location that is touched by the waystone, so it could be up to 4 connected cards, gets flipped to its clear side. So now we can see the Crooked Sentinel to the north with its own stuff going on. And looking at the Crooked Sentinel, we see a 104 pointing to the left and a 103 pointing to the right. That lets us know that when we move north this location, we're going to open up other locations to those sides. And in this case, 103 will be in clear space immediately because it's already got a waystone touching it, whereas 104 will be in weirdness unless we can find another spot for a waystone. There's not one here, not one here. So there's got to be one in the upper or lower left to actually be able to flip that location over. And yeah, this summarizes all of that, but it does say gain the hints part 1 status, so we're never going to read this again. Oh, and reveal and resolve the top card of your events deck. Usually at the beginning of each day, you'll resolve an event card, but we skipped that to start out the game, so now they're kind of catching us up event-wise. And then our exploration ends. We can do a whole bunch more, but we're stopping for now. So let's see what my first forced event is, and I'm experiencing this for the first time as well, so hopefully it's not anything terrible. Place this card on top of the active quest pile. Now that the waystone is active, you steel yourself for the journey ahead, knowing that reaching the King's Pass won't be easy. You're about to make your first step on a road to the pass when a strange feeling creeps up your back. Is something watching you from the mist? I mean, in Tainted Grail, probably. Okay, so usually events will be the active event for 1 day and then go away, but when it's a quest, they stay out for an extended time until you actually do something to resolve them. So this says, reach the King's Pass where roads leading to many forlorn lands cross. Your initial exploration now ends. You are free to do whatever you want to pursue your quest. Remember, you may explore location 101 again to find more exciting places and stories. The exploration action is free. So this quest is going to hang out for us nearby, and we have more events on top of the deck for the next day. Now, before we do any more, let's review our handy-dandy action overview and what we can do. So first, as already seen, we can explore in a location, but only if it is clear. You cannot explore in a weird location. It costs 0 energy to start, but many choices will require more. You can also travel for a single energy. Moving to a adjacent location can be weird or not. Now, when you do that, if you get to a location that has a little lightning bolt like this, you will have to resolve it immediately. This one says if you don't have the hint part 2 status, explore this location. So I'm just going to keep on kind of tutorialing us along. Your third action is to activate a waystone, and man, this is a lot cheaper than it was in Tainted Grail, and I like that it's also a consistent cost. So it is 1 magic per character and 1 health or 1 food per character. So in solo, it's only a single magic and 1 wealth or food. I already got a lot of wealth and food, so it's really just the magic I need to find. But you can also hurt yourself for 3 and gain 2 terror to flip it. So in a pinch, you can get a waystone when you need one. And you can even do that on a weirded location. So you can like run into weirdness with the express purpose of activating the waystone there. Challenge a Guardian, hopefully won't come up for a while. Those are like enemies and more powerful ones that follow you around on the board. That cost nothing, but you have to be in their location. Location actions will be on some locations. So this one says harvest wild crops for 2 energy, and you'll see it as a little time token here. That means this is a once per day action, so you cover it up when you have done it. But for 2 energy, I can gain 1 food. Now, I've already got 2, and one of the big changes that I love in Kings of Ruin compared to the original Tainted Grail is that you no longer need food just to stay alive. You don't have to grind through food. Food is expressly used at the end of days to heal you, so if you're not hurt at all, you don't need food at all. You can also use actions on characters, secrets, and items, and you can pass whenever you want. And you often want to pass when you get to the 1 and not when you get to the 0, because if you're exhausted, you'll only regenerate back up to 4 energy, whereas if you're at 1 or higher, you'll go all the way back up to 6. And because I'm playing solo, in either case, I'll gain 1 more. So if I'm exhausted, I'll go up to 5. If I'm anywhere else, I'll go up to this like little 7 spot here. And I mentioned character abilities. Gerdwin has the poaching ability for 2 energy, but only in clear locations, not weird ones. I can gain 1 food, and then I draw 2 green encounters and resolve 1 of them. So if I need to heal or need food for some other purpose, I can basically always make it happen. I just got to fight a little bit. All right, so with that out of the way, let's look back at the Shunned Land. So now we can actually read the little description here. Once fertile farmland, now a dreary waste, punctuated by wooden carcasses of abandoned windmills. As you watch their frayed blades slice the gray sky to pieces, movement flutters in the corner of your eyes. You feel something watching you from between the structures, but that can't be right. Only shadows dwell here, reminding sore-footed travelers about the region's opulent past. So for 1 energy, we can search the windmills. For 1 energy, we can follow the mysterious shadow, and that requires at least 1 courage attribute. Or we can turn back and return to 4 maidens. Isn't that like giving up? Like that's not an option. Or we can stop exploring, and again, it costs us no energy to see these options. So Gerdwin does indeed have 1 courage, and she ain't afraid of no shadows. So let's go ahead and spend 1 energy to go to verse 1 and explore the shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of the shadow? Gerdwin knows. Okay, it says if you have Curios Part 1 status, there's nothing more to find here. Okay, so I guess we're about to find Curios. Catching shadows is a fool's errand. As soon as you move in its direction, the shape struts away and disappears in the surrounding weirdness. To ensure it wasn't just a hallucination, you approach the spot where it disappeared. The footprints on the ground are very real, and not human. Their shape and irregular gait betray that whoever left them was severely disfigured. A glint of gold in the mud catches your attention as you inspect the footprints. It's a small golden coin from Homelands bearing the countenance of King Arthur Pendragon. A hole drilled through it with a leather strap reveals the creature was wearing it as a charm. You know of only one group that wears the mementos of the one true king as their amulets, but what would they do so close to civilized realms? You're not going to tell me who the one group is? Keep your secrets, Tainted Grail. You fail to find more clues, but you do locate another smaller and more regular set of tracks leading from one of the neglected farm fields to one of the dilapidated windmills. Is someone still living there, sustaining themselves on wild crops? Well, we get 1 wealth, alright. We'll take it. And what the hey, let's explore the windmills as well, and then maybe I'll stop reading everything, but, you know, it's fun to kind of see what the story is, right? Y'all like to follow along. This one asks me about a ton of statuses. I don't have a single one of them, but otherwise I go to verse 5. Footprints of a small child weave between the fields and ruins, eventually leading you to an inhabited windmill. Go to verse 9. The family who dwells in the windmill somehow managed to avoid the worst effects of exposure to weirdness. Still, they are malnourished, half-wild, and suspicious. They treat you as if you were just another hallucination, or worse, a weird spawn. Choose one. Attempt to gain their trust. Uh-oh, diplomacy. That is not my strength. And it's going to get heavier on rules, but we got to try it out. Go to verse 18. Now, here we go. Draw secret card 51, Windmill Denizens Diplomatic Encounter. And we have to get a gray or green conclusion. Again, I'm not so good at diplomacy. And if we do, we get negotiation. Otherwise, exploration ends. Okay, so I guess worst case, besides the penalties, we might be able to try again later. Let's see. All right, so let's get into diplomacy. And it works similarly to combat. And this is pretty similar to the original Tainted Grail, although I think the diplomacy was a little bit different. So first of all, I think this is a change. You now have an amount of time here. You'll see this above Windmill Denizens. It says 3. And we've got this token on the affinity track. In this case, it starts in a red spot. This is going to go terribly, by the way. There's almost no way I'm going to get these people to like me. looking at all the stuff that's against me. So basically, I'm going to play at least one card a turn, although you can play none if you just want to lose. Because I'm playing solo, I have 4 cards to choose from. I'm going to draw 1 card each turn, at the end of each turn, I should say. I'm going to be playing them to form little connections between these things on the right and left, and usually kind of splaying them over top of each other. Although there are some, like this one, that have special abilities that go more like that, although then you can kind of cover them because they usually don't last very long. Now, what I'm actually trying to do in diplomacy, I'm trying to get anything that has an arrow going up, which will push up their affinity for me. And remember, they said that if I can end in gray or green, I'll get something nice. Here it says conclusion, gain 1 food or nothing happens. If I end in red, this symbol means everyone in the party, so just me. I'm going to gain 1 terror and lose 1 health as they, I guess, attack me and push me out of their building. After I've played 1 or more cards, because you can sometimes play more than 1, you have to resolve the enemy response, which in this case is going to push affinity down 1 and lose me 1 time. And once the time runs out, we check what color they're in, and we resolve the conclusion. So even if I, burst ahead and get them into green right away, they don't immediately become my friend. I still have to survive until the entire talk is over. So how do the cards actually connect? So first of all, a lot of the symbols on the right will have different numbers of icons for the attributes. In this case, they're mainly checking the 3 right ones on my character sheet. Those being empathy, caution, and spirituality. And yeah, this is why this is terrible. You notice the only one that I have is a single caution. So anything that has 1 or 2 dove symbols, 1 or 2, what is that, an owl, or 2 of what is that, a little lizard kind of thing, those I won't be able to do. So for example, right now I cannot link anything to these. Even though there are icons to the right here that would theoretically give me something, since I don't have 2 caution, since I don't have any empathy or any spirituality, these double icons are useless to me. Anything that goes to the right is not going to connect to them. But you do generally always have something at the bottom here. Now, in this case, it doesn't do anything, but let's say I instead slotted this impatience card in, I would get 1 times an up move. So I would increase their affinity for me once. Now, I mentioned before that you can play more than 1 card. The first card you can always play, it's basically free, but the second card needs to have at least 1 thing connect left to right with the new card you play that has this little bonus play, kind of like lightning bolt icon. But it needs to be connecting to something that actually applies. So in this case, it does, because I do have caution, so connecting 1 caution would be fine here. But if I wanted to use this one next, this is not connecting to anything, so I would not be able to play this as an additional card in that turn. Now, one symbol you're going to see a lot in diplomacy is the sort of Celtic knot thing. And it still needs to connect correctly, but then what happens is going to be dependent on what it says on the encounter here. And in this case, total trash for me. This is the worst diplomatic encounter possible. No way I'm beating this. But look, it says 1 up if a bird, 1 up if a owl, if spirituality. Which means this will only do something if it's connecting to one of those symbols, but again, only if I have those attributes. So here I would need 2 empathy, 2 of the doves to make this connection work, and then I would get to go up once, but since I have no doves, that wouldn't work. Now, I do have a Celtic knot connecting to the caution attribute that I have 1 of here, but caution doesn't show up here, so that gets me absolutely nothing. Oof. And by the way, a lot of my cards will have bonuses as well. So this one says, if the affinity is red, place 1 charge on this card, which it is right now. And then these become abilities you can use later. That's why they are, usually you cover up cards and their ability stops applying. But you see this one has stuff on the left and the far right, so it's not covered up. That way you still have the ability to use. This one says, you pay 1 charge. The next card does not need to connect with a lightning bolt. So you can, if I use this and then pay a charge, you can make it a lot easier to play another card. This one, you place 2 charges on it, and if you pay a charge, you can trash your rightmost card, just get rid of it, which can sometimes let you make a better connection. And then this one, when you play it down the first time, you trash this card, and you trash the card before it. That's terrible. And then, stubbornness. If this card is trash, draw 2 cards. Actually, maybe it's not terrible. All right, so here's, I think, the best I've got. I'm going to do a stubbornness as my first card. And the only thing that links up is the basic one down here that always links up, and I get a single push up. And then I'm going to play Intimidation, which I can play as a second card because the Lightning Bolt does connect to my 1 caution stat that I have. And it gives me another affinity up, because 1 times arrow up. And then it says when I play this, trash this card, trash that card. Oh, if this card is trash, draw 2 more cards. Now, drawing cards is not some kind of magical thing, because if I go through my entire 10-card deck, then the diplomacy ends automatically. Let's see, what did I get? Plea. When I play it, you may draw a card and then trash this. Ooh, or if I don't trash it during the next enemy encounter phase, I ignore all down stuff and then I trash it after the response. That's pretty awesome. Actually, I could play it right now to stop them from bringing me down this turn, and then it would get out of the way for me to play another card next turn. Yeah, there's nothing else I could play because no other bonuses will match up. But you know what? I'm going to lose this one affinity from them, so it's not too big of a deal. So let's go ahead. Well, I guess I might as well use Plea, right? All right, so I'll put Plea down. It doesn't do anything, but it does sit here. I'm not going to draw a card and trash this. Instead, I'm going to go to the enemy encounter. They would lower me by 1, but Plea ignores all of that. So I stay where I am, and then I trash this after the response, so I'm back to where I started. Then I usually have to discard down to 3 cards, but because I'm playing Soul, I can discard down to 4, but I only have 3. And then I draw another card. So you discard down to 3 and then draw another. So I've got 4 options again. Oh, and sorry, I should have, this is very important. We're down to 2 time left. So we only got to survive 2 more turns, and I'm actually doing okay. And I've got what I think is a pretty good combo for my next thing. All right, so I'm going to play Keen Sight, which does absolutely nothing. Remember, it doesn't have to connect anything, but yeah, I'm getting nothing down here, nothing anywhere else. But I do, because the affinity is still red, which is why I want to use this now, I do get a single charge on this, and I can use it to make the next card I play, whenever I want to use it, not have to connect with a lightning bolt. And I'm actually going to do that immediately and play this Impatience one, which gets 2 charges placed on it. Now, by the way, I did not connect at all with any of the lightning symbols, so I am going to have to use this to be able to play Impatience. So I guess I'm keenly looking at this family and then showing I am wasting time with them. Doesn't seem very nice. But look at this. 2 times up. Oh, I'm looking pretty good now. Maybe they'll like me. I don't know if they're going to give me 1 food. I don't think I'll get a degree, but they're on my side. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay 1 charge right now to trash this card itself because I would love to play another up for ×2 next turn. So that'll be the end of my plays. This time I am going down 1 affinity, but I'm still in gray, and I'm down to 1 turn left. And now I'll draw a final card. Are you kidding me? None of these have pluses. And if I don't get a plus as the final thing, this will go down, and I'll fail this stupid diplomacy. Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, none of them even have a plus up here that I could link my little 1 attribute to. Oh, this is demoralizing. And this, by the way, is a magic symbol. If you link up that, you have to be able to spend 1 magic to activate it. I don't have any magic. Wait. Look, what's this new card I drew? War Stories. When I play this, I may gain 1 terror to lose 1 time. I waste the family's time telling war stories. So I do gain 1 terror. I'm 1/5 of the way to being insane. But we never get to the enemy encounter phase because this is gone. We just went down to 0 time, and we are in the gray, baby. Nothing happens, and nothing except becoming their friend. And all these cards get shuffled back in, so I will have my full randomized deck available to me again. Gerdwin, pull it out the win, the Gerdwin, as you will, with her war stories. All right, so I gain Negotiator Part 1, and I go to verse 10. All right. The family invites you to their hideout on the 2nd floor of the windmill. The path leads up a retractable ladder and past thick oaken doors marred with claw marks. In a cramped room above, you learn that all settlers from this area fled soon after the weirdness came. However, these people firmly believe that the king in the east will return and save their land, and so they wait, harvesting wild crops whenever someone lights the nearby waystone. If you're playing Elgin, no, it's the other character. There were 2 playable characters in this, and no character. Okay, we're just going to skip that. Verse 11. While you're wrestling with your thoughts, the woman keeps talking. You learn the lack of food and ramshackle dwelling is now the least of her worries. Every couple of months, a strange group of men in robes travels down the old path to King's Path that leads west from the Crooked Sentinel. They were just here a fortnight ago, and ever since this visit, the woman's second daughter, 14-year-old fair-haired Alyssa, blessed with the voice of an angel, had not been seen. Okay, new lead. A young girl from the windmills was supposedly taken by a strange-looking band that traveled the old path west of the Crooked Sentinel. Oh, you jerks. We're going to find her and save her. Although with Tainted Grail, probably not. She'll probably be some twisted monstrosity, but anything's possible. And yeah, my exploration ends, and except for turning back, we are done with the Shunlands for now. Oh, by the way, I didn't notice this before. One of the things for the windmill says if there's a time token on this location's action, you have to go to verse 4. And it just said that they will get all the food they can when the weirdness goes away, and that's the only way they can survive. So man, I think if I'd gotten the food, they probably would have been angry at me. I'm glad that I didn't need it. All right, so we still have 4 energy, and we're basically done here, and I definitely don't need to get more food, and I would feel kind of bad about it now with the family anyway. So I'm going to spend 1 energy to go north, and I'm going to have to immediately explore that Crooked Sentinel place. And I should look at Gerdwin's ability. It says overloaded. If you have 0 energy at the end of a travel action, so after I move, I take 1 damage automatically. Not too big of a weakness, and I don't expect to be doing that very often, but good to know. All right, so we move up to the Crooked Sentinel. We're going to see what's to the left and right with 104 and 103. And it does say if you don't have the Hints Part 2 stats, explore this location, so we're going to do that immediately. A crooked statue of a hooded, I think it's supposed to be hooded, 4 dweller juts out of the rolling hills. But first, let's see. The stone chorus, this location is clear. And the icon on the left here means these are locations with dreams to be had. So if you end your day here, you can have a little dream. So this one has a green encounter if I go there, and then it heads further north. Although now that I found out about that girl being kidnapped or whatever, I kind of want to go west. But west is more difficult because it's all weirdness. Oh, interesting. The only thing you see are naked tree trunks sticking out of the weirdness, or are those the massive ships sailing in the opalescent sea? You'll notice, at least I'm noticing, that there is no corner to put a statue on. Huh. So I don't even know how I flip that at the moment. It does say when you go here, you gain 1 terror, and then you read verse 70, so maybe there's some way to flip it in there. But anyway, all this is just guesswork. I must resolve, because I don't have Hints Part 2, I must resolve an exploration for the Crooked Sentinel. And yes, Tainted Grail, I get you. If you don't have Hints Part 2, go to verse 10. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just kidding. Of course, I appreciate tutorials. With the dreary shunned lands behind you, you now draw close to King's Pass. You've already walked this road once in the opposite direction, though the time makes memories into a blur. You know there should be a narrow, winding trail leading up to the pass not far in the east. To the west, the land drowns in pure weirdness. You'd rather not take that path, as each step through this ever-shifting mist is a real danger, and spending a night in its coils can cost you your life or sanity. Still, they say that adventurers brave enough to walk beyond the lights of Waystone sometimes find things that wouldn't be possible otherwise, for better or worse. All right, and then all the rest of this just says, do the stuff you already did, Mike. Yeah, so we mark Hint Part 2, and exploration ends. We'll see what there's actually around here to do. All right, a crooked statue of a hooded 4-dweller presides over the rolling hills, a repulsive memento that this land once belonged to other, much older beings. They say the former rulers of Avalon left these statues all over the island, but to what end you cannot fathom. The statue's long cloak splits near the base, providing enough space for a grown human to squeeze inside. A broken rune wagon rests on the side of an old trail that weaves past the sentinel, the wagon's guards looking at you suspiciously. Oh, wait. There's an actual wagon there? Oh, those are like people. All right, so we've got 3 energy left. And remember, I don't want to exhaust myself if I can help it, so I can spend 2 more, but not 3 more ideally. For 2, I can demolish the statue if I have at least 2 aggression. I do not. So that is not an option yet. I can go inside the statue. That doesn't seem safe. I can study the magic aura of the statue. I do not have at least 1 spirituality to do that. I can search the mounds beyond the statue, or I can approach the rune wagon. Well, that one's free. Let's start there. Although, man, if I get into another diplomacy encounter, come on. All right, and I don't have Friend of Nobility. Rich and nobles of Avalon often travel with wagons like this, ironclad mammoths of thick oak, walls adorned with runes meant to ward against weirdness. Ward against weirdness, wow. Yet all this arcane protection did nothing to save the wagon from a broken axle. 2 men-at-arms and a coachman now try to repair it, but the wagon's sheer size and weight make it almost impossible. Okay, so help them repair the axle. I have 2 practicality, and that only requires 1, so I can do that with the remainder of the energy I wanted to spend. Forcefully barge into the wagon if I have at least 1 aggression. That seems odd. Ask them where they're going. Ask them why they fly the banners of a dead kingdom. If I'm Gerdwin. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, before I try to help the wagon, let's find that out, because that's a unique me encounter option. One thing about the rune card immediately catches your attention. A tattered flag depicting 2 golden boars on a green background. Even after all these years, you'd recognize this coat of arms anywhere. You fought your first battles in its shadows. You bled and nearly died for it. Now excitement mixed with anxiety washes over you as you see it again. The banner of the lost kingdom of Lothian, now a land of mist haunted by Claudine the Unknighted. You ask the men-at-arms about the meaning of the banner. One is excited enough to tell you the Lothians shall rise again soon. The other immediately silences him. Could it be that a Lothian noble waits inside the wagon? The old fat King Loth, who spent so many years straining the hospitality of the 4 maiden nobles? His snake of a wife? Or maybe you shudder the Dolores twins themselves? None of those sound good. So if you don't have rumors and hearsay, you gain it. Oh, I lose a terror, yay, and gain an energy. All right. I guess I'm not quite done for the turn. And then I gain Rumors and Heroes, say part 1. That makes sense. All right, I did promise to not read everything so we can actually like get somewhere in this playthrough without it being like 50 hours long. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 energy to repair the axe. I'll just summarize what it said. And yep, I still can spend 1 more before I have to rest if I don't want to be exhausted. But for helping them, we got a status. They shared some food with us. Ooh, we got a weird candle. Secret card number 2. Discard this card to flip the location you are in or an adjacent location from weirdness side to clear side. Hey, we can maybe go west. Although we probably want to wait until the next day, like right at the start, so we have maximum time to take advantage of that option. And with the 1 energy I have left, I don't want to go inside the statue. I'm going to search the mounds. Oh, and interesting. A kid runs towards the windmills to the south. Yeah, I already know people live there, so that wasn't helpful. Oh, by the way, I didn't say for the the wagon encounter. They did say that the King's Pass, the place where I'm trying to go, King Loth, who is the king of my former kingdom of Lothian, he is trying to go to the place as well and try to reactivate the Wordstone to Weirdstone, whatever it is, to get to the Lost Kingdom as well. So there are other people trying to get to the same place I am, basically. But I am going to go ahead and end my day. So first, I go up to 6, and then because I'm a solo player, I go up to 7. Awesome. And then I could pay 1 food to reduce my terror and heal myself, but I don't need to. If I had experience, I could level up my attributes or get new cards for my combat and diplomacy decks. And then finally, this is one reason I wanted to end in this location. If I'm in a location with a vision, like a little dream icon, I get to see what that's all about. And I basically dreamed that the Waystones were like eating me and sucking out my blood to keep the weirdness at bay. And I was going to die eventually. And I got a status for it. Not sure nightmares are good, but at least I got something from it. But we are back and I have 7 energy. Do I want to go to the west with the candle and just like see what I can find? Follow the trail of that lady that might have been kidnapped. I think that's exciting. Let's do it. So I'm going to go and discard this right away because, I don't know if I want to resolve verse 70. Let's keep ourselves a little bit safe instead and turn it into the Strutting Forest. And I can gather gemstones here to gain 1 wealth, but I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to travel here. I still don't want to go inside the statue personally. And then let's go ahead and see what our exploration options are, because again, we can only explore here if it's flipped, and it wouldn't be flipped except for that candle. Yeah, here it is. Cool illustration. And I can search a cart. That's literally it. Wow. Well, I guess, again, you're not even really supposed to be seeing this unless you have something to flip it like a candle. But holy crud, I found a cart that had been shoved in the weirdness. And it had 2 food, 1 wealth, 1 magic. That was a good use of my candle. I'll pay that. And I especially like having this 1 magic because now if I do find a waystone spot further on, I'll be able to put it down. Speaking of, okay, so this is in weirdness. If I go there, I take 1 damage automatically. So the question is, do I go up there and hope that either of the locations that gets revealed is a flippable one? And the answer to that is heck yes, I do. Let's spend another energy, and it didn't cost any to search the card, so I'm just at 5. To go up here, I immediately take 1 damage, and I read a Book of Secrets verse at the back of the book, 4. And oh crud, only because I had 2 practicality, like my best attribute, I can search like this bubbling, like disgusting pit in here, and I can spend 2 time to pull something out of it while I'm in the middle of the weirdness. This seems like maybe not a good idea. If you go to sleep in the weirdness, you're not happy. Well, you know what? Hold on. Before I decide whether I want to spend 2 energy for that, I would have gotten when I moved in here to see the things next to me. Let's see if either of them has a spot. Ooh, look, there's something over here. Looks like buildings maybe, and like, is that water? But look, yes, okay, so I can go there and definitely get a statue. Or go up here and get not a dang thing. Well, all right, you know what? Yeah, this seems too cool. So I'm definitely going to spend 2 energy, and then I'll head over there and relight the thing. And oh man, there was a lot of interesting stuff in there, but basically like this blocket was causing like almost like weird boiling activity at the bottom of this crater. It's from one of the kings of Ruin. I think Claudine, the Unknighted, was the one that they said like conquered my homeland. So yeah, I think I have a locket of one of the like bosses in the game. At the start of the day, you may pay 1 magic to lose 2 terror once per day. Well, that's not going to happen very often, but still, that's a cool like little part of the mystery in this random site of weirdness I found. And speaking of weirdness, let's get the heck out of here. Oh no. When I move in here, it costs 1 to move, and then it says each party member loses 1 energy as well. I do find another place that I can flip. That's good. But yeah, the reason that extra energy loss is a bummer is because I need 2 energy to activate a waystone, and I'm down to 1, so I couldn't even exhaust myself to do it at this point. Oh, crud! I never did an event all the way back at the beginning of the day. Yeah, as you make your camp, you notice strange shapes lurking in the dark at the edge of your vision. The sword of old, crucible, ruined ones, the passage east. So maybe I should have gone east. You can't take it anymore. You grab a flaming branch and swing at them, sending sparks. The shapes slither back into the darkness. All right, anyway, we lose 1 health. We gain 1 terror. Not a big deal, although I guess it would maybe give us more of a reason to rest today and eat some food. All right, so we won't forget to draw a new event next time. But we are ending our day, so we're going back to 7 energy. And I'm going to eat some food to lose 1 terror and recover 1 health. But then anytime you are staying the night in weirdness, you gain 2 terror and lose 2 health. So man, I am right at the edge of running out of energy or having less energy if I don't take care of that. But it's okay. At the start of the next day, I will very quickly put down the waystone and heal myself there. But now we're not going to forget this time. Event 3. Somewhat visits you in the dead of the night, in the middle of the weirdness. Get out of here. I want to talk to you. Verse 15. All right, oof, this was an interesting one. So it turns out that the creatures that have been like kind of in the shadows haunting me are creatures that like went into the weirdness and got warped by it, but they were trying to find King Arthur, so they're not like bad. And they gave me a vision that I'm going to kill the Kings of Ruin. I'm going to make a path east to the rest of the kingdom. I'm going to find King Arthur. Yeah, that sounds easy. We'll definitely do that in the demo. I mean, that's clearly happening in about 2 cards. Like, I'm sure he's just right over there. But they did give us a new secret, Brand of the King Seeker. For 1 energy, I can drain a waystone that touches my location to gain 1 magic, which is pretty nice because that lets me then put down another waystone somewhere else. Ooh, and then each character in your location with 3 health or less gains 3 health. So in a pinch, I can suck out the waystone energy. Now that seems kind of bad for all the people who are happy the weirdness is gone. Sorry, y'all, but sometimes Gerdwin's got to heal herself. But speaking of waystones, let's not waste any time. We're going to put 1 where we are, so that costs 2 energy. Our only magic, and we could do food or wealth. Food's easier for us to get, so let's spend that. And hooray! Look! So this place flips the reflected town. This place flips Wagenburg. This sounds like people might actually be here. And if we head further north, more places will flip, so that's cool. And what do we got? We can explore here. We can have a dream here. Ooh, for 1 energy, ask the hermit for healing. Pay 1 wealth to gain 3 hearts. We actually have 3 damage, and we have some wealth to spare. The spires and townhouses of this once prosperous Lothian settlement live on as a reflection. Okay, so there's no actual town here. This is just this hermit. And over in Wagenburg, ooh, for 2 energy, I can lose 2 terror, which would also help me out. The armored wagons completely block the narrowing trail, stopping anyone who can't afford an exorbitant toll. Oh, so if we want to go north, and we already have a waystone ready to go there, we'd have to pay a toll. I wonder how much wealth they want from us. But first of all, I want that hermit to hermit me up. Let's heal ourselves completely. And maybe if we go over to Wagenburg, we can get rid of our terror too. Oh, I just remembered that this place is definitely not lit by my little candle anymore. The entire west side of things is weirded up. All right, let's go ahead and explore here a little bit, see what there is to offer. All right, Reflected Town. In ages past, a Lothian town, hey, that's me, stood at the edge of a clear mountain loch, its stone houses and spires reflecting in the water's silvery surface. The town is gone now, laid to ruin in some age-long past, but you've heard that the reflection lives on, etched eternally in the waters. A small stone shack rests by the shore, pieces of rubble haphazardly thrown together. A lone goat bleats in its wooden pen. Oh no, lone goat! All right, if you don't have Negotiator Part 1 status, hey, that's when we talk to the people, right? We got that. Oh yeah, there it is, baby. Woo! So we got a ton of options. Try to reach the overlook above the trail. Requires Gerdwin Topography Part 1. Nope. Search a town's ruin. Take a swim in the lake. That just seems like a deadly idea. Look into the reflections on the lake to see if the legends are true. Visit the stone shack. Check the shattered waystone. Oh my gosh, there's so much to do. I don't know, let's start by searching the town's ruins. All right, we got a food and foraging status. Want 1, nothing too interesting there. And we got 3 energy left. Gosh, should I swim in the lake? Whatever, I'll swim in the lake. I'll probably die, but I'm a physical character. I'll probably be sort of okay. And this is interesting. We have a bit of a mystery on their hand. A hint, like in the encounter, they tell you to do this, says, some of you look at the weirdness version of something, you can see something you won't see otherwise. And they're asking me like which part of the lake to go to. Oh, that's right. We saw this. I guess that's like the south, like middle or southeast of the lake. Let's try it out. And each corner I go to is 1 energy before exhaustion, so I'll just try this one. Ooh, that was the right choice. I got 1 wealth and 2 magic. Now, the wealth was from melted golden teeth. Not maybe the prettiest thing ever. When am I getting some experience? I guess I need to fight somebody. But yeah, that was cool. I'm still happy I got the stuff. All right, and even though I don't feel like I did a ton that day, because lighting the waystone was so expensive, I'm going to go and rest now, so I'll go up to 7 with my bonus from a solo play. I'm not going to eat any food just to get rid of terror. I can do that at the wagons later, right? But time keeps marching on. We only got 3 more parts of Chapter 1. We haven't added any basic events on top yet. The waystones lit along the trail to King's Pass begin to attract unwanted attention. Uh-oh. Search the green encounter deck. Place the Hexaleech green encounter in the lowest numbered location with a waystone. If there are no waystones, place in the lowest numbered location generally. Oh, there's a guardian. So they prevent you from exploring, and they might attack you or drain a waystone or do other crap. So we might need to run back and kill this guy. And yeah, hey, we wanted to see some combat, right? So he's a guardian, hence the G there. The Hexaleech, when there are no waystones to feed on, it sustains itself on blood. Hey, I'm the only one who eats waystones around here, okay, to get magic and healing. All right. We can kill this guy, right? I'm not that great at diplomacy. Combat, though. Ready to go. Ready to throw hands, throw down. Now, unfortunately, they said the lowest numbered location. He is all the way back there. Oh, my God. And just to show you, so events happen after Guardian movement, so he's not going to move this turn. But if he's still around next turn, I'd roll the die. On a direction, he tries moving that direction. If he can, he just moves to the highest valued location next to him. So he just moved north to the Crooked Sentinel. But if in the 1/3 chance, look at that sexy little X there, just drawn out with Sharpie. If an X is rolled 1 of 3 sides, then instead he'll attack me or any characters that are in the location. Or if there's nobody there, he will eat the Waystone, which I don't love. But you know what? Honestly, there is a pretty high chance that he'll move next turn, and then he'll be closer to me. So let's keep exploring where we are. And oh, whoops, I forgot to have my vision here. And I have a vision of having a party and dancing. That's great. Especially because the partying gets rid of some of my terror. I'm almost fully healed again. All right, what else do I want to do here? I've swum in the lake. I've searched the ruins. Let's look at my reflection and maybe visit the stone shack. And you'll notice for both of these that they have like red things you can't see until you found a secret card that lets you see them, like a little red-green viewer thing. So yeah, I'm only going to see a little bit of this stuff. So I don't see anything in the reflection. Boring. I need the secret. And then the hermit, I ask him, I can ask for an adventure, look for a place to rest. Traveler trying to return home. That like is the most accurate to my character, right? And yeah, he says that it's almost impossible to see like your true future in the reflection of the lake, but he has a trinket he can sell me. This might be just a total trick to be able to do it if I pay 1 wealth or 1 food. And I forgot I should have gotten a card A, an item A, which in this case is just like a basic healing 1-use one when I found that cart in the weirdness. So I could just give him this. Nah, but I'll give him 1 food. I've got so much that I can hunt more. What? Oh, crap. I didn't know I'd get this so quickly. I just mentioned it. Here, they have a little thing to test it on. Oh, God. I don't know if you can read that, but it says, go to secrets, verse 18. And I feel like that was wrong, because I just talked to King Loth, unless I had like some kind of vision of him. But either way, let's go back and try out the other stuff we couldn't do before. All right, reflection on the lake. 385, Book of Secrets. Oh, God, I got to read this one to you. As you peer at the waters of the lake through this strange warped piece of glass, you almost jump back with terror. Instead of your own reflection set against the ruins in the gray sky above, you see a colorful crowd walking down the stone promenade in the light of countless lanterns, with opulent stone townhouses behind them set against the night sky. This golden dream from an age long past is strangely hypnotizing. Oh, God. We're going to go in. It's a bad idea. We're going in. Okay, a lot of Mike reading silently later. Wow. So I went into the water and I was walking around a market in the old kingdom of Loth, and everything was beautiful. And I found a bow place that was selling new items, and I spent 2 wealth and bought this steel drawstring for my bow. Got an upgraded secret combat card. How cool is this? But then, and don't do this if you're playing the game, I tried to talk to the people to ask them something, forgetting that I was technically in the lake, seeing all these reflections. And yeah, I got 2 terror, took 2 damage as I nearly drowned. Wah wah, sorry, Mike. But yeah, I think I'm about done on this location. I got a ton of energy left. You know what the hey? I feel like I'm getting close to how long I want this video to be, and I've got my new combat card. Let's run down and fight the Guardian. So for 1, 2, 3, 4 energy, I can get to him, and it's free to combat. Hey, I heard you were going to mess with my buddies in... they're not here, are they? Oh, yeah, they were hiding in the windmill. Yeah, you're going to mess with my friends? You're not going to eat the waste stone. I'm going to eat you! Maybe. He does give me food if I win. Ha ha ha. All right, so we're going into combat, and this is almost identical to diplomacy. The whole, like, matching up things and being able to play extra cards if you have the little, like, lightning bolt thing still applies. The big difference is that to win, you need to build up damage. A lot of your cards will give you red tokens for damage. You need to build those up to equal or exceed the enemy's life value. And when they take their turn, they will take an action based on the current number of red cubes you have. So for this guy, if I've done 0 to 1 damage to him when my turn ends, he gives me 2 terror, I lose a magic. If I've got 2, then each person in the party takes 1 damage, which is just me. That one's probably the best one to aim for. 3, everyone loses 1 magic and gains 1 terror. 4, he heals 1, it gets rid of 1 cube. And on a 5, he just runs away. Now, you do have cards that can cancel that sometimes, but you definitely don't want that to happen. And if we don't win the encounter, we're going to lose 5 magic. Some things will give the enemy an opportunity, which will have him do a bunch of terrible stuff. And I think red damage is not blockable and white is. And yeah, then if I beat him, I'll get a food and 2 magic, and of course he'll go away. So I've got 4 cards, and by the way, you can mulligan, and you just draw 1 card less each time, so I could get rid of these and draw 3 cards instead. But, you know, I'm sure it's fine. Let's just go for it. And just quickly show you what I'm working with, because it is so much better than diplomacy. I have 1 aggression, 1 courage, that's a bear, pig, and 2 practicality, which is like a snakehead. So I can link to almost anything. I've also got 2 magic, you can't see it over here, that I can link to the magic thing. Since he's going to eat my magic, I might want to do that anyway. So what have I got? I've got Powerful Bolt, which does 2 attack if I can get an aggression set up. So, like, that would go well with my charge. Ooh, my gosh. My charge, if I then went into Powerful Bolt, that would do 2 because the aggression would match up. And then 2 times 1, which would also... Oh, my gosh, that would do 4. So if I can get him to 2, get charge out. Well, charge, if I played it right now, would get nothing here and 1 with my practicality. So I would need, I want to get 2 damage and then do the charge Powerful Bolt. Let's see, can I play something first and then play charge on top of it? Well, let's see, I could play Silver Bolt. That would get me the 2 I want if I spend a magic, because 1 for my practicality, 1 for a magic. Although that would do nothing for me, and I'm not fighting a purple encounter, so I don't get a bonus. But that would just have him do 1 damage to me. And then next turn, I could do my charge. That wouldn't do anything. And I would let him do an extra damage. He'd stay on the same, so gosh, I'd take 3 damage total. But then the next turn, I could play Powerful Bolt and defeat him immediately. Is that worth it? Well, either way, Silver Bolt seems like a nice first play. That's going to get 2 damage again if I'm spending a magic. He's going to give me 2 more. Why not? So that's 2 damage on our Hex Leech. And then I can't currently play anything else, so he resolves his action. I take 1 damage. Luckily, I have Wealth to have the Hermit heal me again, because I am hurt. And then I have my 3 cards that I'm allowed to hold. I get a 4th. Ooh, that's my new one. Steel Drawstring. Draw 1 card and play it at the end of the sequence, like automatically. I don't know if I like that. Is that good? I mean, I literally have all 3 of these, so I'm probably going to match up stuff. But you know what? Why take a chance when you know you can just pay a Hermit in a second anyway? I'm just charging. I'm going, rah! Charging right at him, even though I'm an archer. I don't care. It gets me nothing. I don't have 3 snakeheads to get 1. I don't need to connect anyway. It's my first card. I don't get anything from that. Woof. And I'm still taking the damage, but it's +1. I'm down 2 life. But I draw a card. I don't really care, because guess what time it is? Guess what time it is? 2 attack. 2 more attack. So I just charge right in his face. Powerful Bolt in his leech mouth. 4 more damage. He is immediately defeated. I get a food. I get 2 magic, so that's 1 more than I started with. I still don't get any experience, so I only have the 1 that I had from earlier. But hey, at least I defeated the Hex Leech and... Oh, crap. I thought I was all the way on the Hermit. I forgot I ran down here where there is nothing to heal me. Well, I guess I'll spend 1 to head north again. It's my last energy to get to the Crooked Sentinel. And actually, you know what the hey? I'm hurt enough that I couldn't go all the way up to 7 anyway, so I think I'll just go ahead and exhaust myself. I'll only go up to 4 plus 1 from being solo. I think it'll kind of work out about the same. But that'll get me over to the Stone Chorus and a new vision. Yeah, to show this all, I go up to 5. I am going to spend 1 food, because I got pretty messed up just to heal. Oh, and interesting. I sang at the Stone Courts, and it said if I learn a new song, I can share it with it. I don't know what all that means. But I do know that we're on the second to last card. In the morning, you notice another traveler who camped not far from you. He welcomes you with a grin of blackened teeth and invites you to share his meal of stale oatcakes and a roasted gull phone. I was heading toward the King's Pass, he says, like every other fool out here, but I've had it, heading back to the Maidens now. See the weirdness? It's creeping back. Soon the path will be closed again, and all these quarreling fools up at the pass will be in for a nasty surprise. You part ways shortly after, his words filling you with unease. I think is what they meant. Game 1 food of what? What does fade mean again? Oh, crud. You know what fade means? Get rid of the waystone touching the lowest numbered location. Yeah. Now, I don't think I have to suffer this effect because I didn't just move in here. Like, it's just fading now. But I think it's a good place to stop. You've seen some of what the game has to offer, a little hint of the secrets awaiting us. One diplomacy encounter, one combat encounter. I'm going to go ahead and play a little more, and when I am done, I will come back and record my thoughts on the game so far. So, see you in a moment. Okay, everybody, I'm back a few days later, and I got through almost the entire prototype. I didn't quite finish Chapter 2. They sent me 2 chapters, but I'm most of the way through it. So let's talk through my thoughts on the system and Kings of Ruin specifically. And some of this will be the same as my review from a while back and my other discussions of the game. So first, looking at the characters, it's the same as always, I think, and I like it. The thematic way that damage limits your energy, the danger of going insane, the way you level up becomes more expensive, and also like the skills you get. Like I got this one, bargaining for Gerdwin. I've always found the choices interesting for this, and they continue to be so. And at least glancing at the skill pairs so far, because they just sent one for each attribute, so far the choices do look pretty interesting. It's not like there's a completely obvious one for every choice. Now, will that be the case? Because I always felt like in Tainted Grail, sometimes some skills were way better than others. I don't know, but so far the balance looks pretty good. The story and exploration of Tainted Grail was always one of my favorite things about the game as a fan of narrative adventures. I think the writing continues to be great here. Even in this prototype stage, I only found a few typos and grammatical things. And I really like that they made the base exploration cost 0. It's not always a giant change because a lot of things have costs anyway, but it does give me like a stronger feeling of being able to explore the world without being punished for it, which is definitely a good thing. And combined with the narrative, the exploration continues to be excellent, and I would say is a billion times better than the original because of the new Waystone mechanic. I know a lot of people just like me didn't love the menhirs, and especially when you had to like backtrack to go to other places. So the fact that now it's so much cheaper and easier to flip things to the non-weirdness side, but also that like some locations need you to use items like the candle to like kind of explore them. I don't know. I just find it so much kind of nicer to the player, and it lets the exploration really shine because it is excellent. Again, it's right up there with Seventh Continent, one of my other favorite games for like exploratory narrative discovery. I think it's just fantastic. And the combat mechanics are still fun. The diplomacy mechanics are still fun. I always loved these. In the original Tainted Grail, I felt like you just had them too often. So I'm not entirely sure how they changed it. Like, did they used to have the thing where you would only once per day have an encounter when you moved into a location? Or did it happen every time you moved in? But either way, whatever they did, whether they just like went into the narrative sections and kind of removed some, I felt like I had way less combat, way less diplomacy to resolve in this one, which is what I prefer. That made each one feel like a meaningful encounter, made the mechanics shine instead of feeling like they got repetitive. So, yeah, I really I've always liked these. I've always liked the combat and diplomacy in the game. But whatever they tweaked for Kings of Ruin, I felt like I was able to enjoy them more. And that's kind of my big takeaway for this one. I feel like the tweaks they've made to the core rules just put the player and kind of their joy first, even though this is a depressing, kind of dark world, instead of sometimes forcing you to dig through things. I didn't say yet, but using food just to heal and not having to grind for it to stay alive, huge change. These waystones, making it easier to explore, not having things tick down and disappear, huge change. The fact that I can move through flipped locations even when there isn't a waystone, yes, I take some damage, but I can make that choice and get where I need to go, huge change. I mean, I'm on the record for the original Tainted Grail as basically not being able to play it anymore without house rules because I got so frustrated by what I felt was the grinding nature of the game. And I haven't felt that at all with Kings of Ruin. I haven't felt that for a single moment. Now, Tainted Grail, that only really came to a head for me in, I don't know, around chapter like 3 or 4 when I was really a little bit deeper in the game. And this one I can only play 2 chapters so far. but the mechanics seem to be fixed in such a meaningful way that I don't expect to ever have that same kind of grindy frustration with Kings of Ruin that I did with the original. So yeah, this is almost completely positive. I could see this being one of my favorite games again when it comes out with the kind of fixes, or I don't want to call them fixes, but the changes they made. Are there any complaints? I wouldn't say complaints. It kind of remains to be seen. This is a prototype, but I will say that the first chapter, kind of like the first chapter in Tainted Grail, felt a little bit on the rails. Like I would kind of just do the exact same stuff now that I know what to do if I played it again. And chapter 2 so far, sort of, I won't show you anything to spoil it, but it sort of felt a bit on the rails as well. Not on the rails, but there were some linear aspects to it. Now, the original Tainted Grail, like I said, was sort of the same way, and it only kind of opened itself up, and then it still had linear parts later on. So I think it's fine. It certainly didn't bother me. I was very excited by it. But like replay, I can't really tell yet. I can't tell if there will be a lot to see here and a lot of variety. If you play through again with somebody else, it might be sort of a one and done to experience it, unless you want to try like different paths or different choices. And the other thing I'll say, and this is no different than the original Tainted Grail, 1 player, heck yes, love it. 2 players, heck yes, really cool. You can stay together and help each other out or spread out. But I've only played the original 3-player a little bit, and nothing from what I've seen in this one would kind of change the experience there. 4-player I've never played, and I don't really see it being something that at least personally I would prefer to do. Because the downtime's going to get bad. Like they suggest in the rules that you like have somebody else do their exploration while somebody's doing their combat. Like they kind of are aware of the downtime and sort of want you to like sort of play simultaneously to avoid it. But that means I'm not seeing somebody else's adventure. That means I'm not hearing like what they're doing. There's going to be a lot of reading, which not everybody will enjoy. So yeah, this is probably a 1, maybe up to 3-player game for me. I don't think I'd ever want to play it for 4, but that's true of like literally every one of these adventure games. That's true of Seventh Continent. It's true of like role-player adventures, like all these things that are heavy narrative and discovery and exploration focused. I don't really want to play them with a giant group, and that's just my personal preference. So if you loved Tainted Grail with 4 before, I don't think there's going to be anything different here. But yeah, this is I mean, I loved the original Tainted Grail and then felt kind of burned by it as I played more. This one has completely revived my excitement and surpassed my excitement for the original. So I am dying to play more of this, and I'm really, really excited. So definitely go check out the Game Found page. This has converted me back to a Tainted Grail lover, and it might do the same for you. So good gaming, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next stop.